Community focused. Community focused. We're here for you. With me and you. Under our point of view. At 5 o'clock. You're North London. The podcast crew. A week in review. We're here for you. Yeah.
Hooray! Hooray!
Community Focus is an art centre for children and adults with disabilities. We are based in the Borough of Barnet, North London, and offer a selection of creative and well-being activities for all ages.
In the room we have
Yasmin.
Ruby,
Sophia. Carol.
And Shone.
In this episode, we are talking about employability. We talk about our jobs, we talk about issues we've had when we are working, and we are pleased to invite Stuart to talk to us today, an expert about employment for people with additional needs. Listen, learn, and have fun. Yasmin, have you had a job before?
Yes, I have. Well, two things. During my time as a student, I worked at my old theatre school as a drama teaching assistant, working with younger students at the age between 5 to 9 year olds to help them prepare for their LAMDA exams. And the other one was community focus as a freelance teaching assistant.
my job is I help the preschoolers doing gymnastics. It's really fun and I really enjoyed it.
I work at Council Research every Friday doing the CDs and the books, doing the price tags and the CDs and welcoming new people in the stores as well.
I work at Yodoin Warehouse in Waltham Cross. It's a delivery company. I sort out the parcels and put them in the right tour destinations with the delivery numbers and the address barcode passcode.
At the moment, I don't have a job, but I am waiting for a placement that's going to start at the end of this month in a charity organisation which makes ceramics. But I've had a job before. I've been a call handler, I think, where I basically had to call people. This was during COVID times. I had to call them if they had been in contact with someone with COVID, and I had to tell them to self-isolate and inform others of also self-isolating.
So, in previous times, I did work experience last year as part of my course at college, and I worked in an office, administrating files and enrolling different students, and I also have helped out with my church volunteering, and tomorrow I'm going to be doing helping out in holiday club as part of my church, and helping out around setting up the different areas. And yeah.
What do you enjoy most about working, Yasmin?
There are things I do enjoy, like when it comes to special occasion, like sending out some gifts for Valentine's Day and especially for graduation and prom. As my role as an artist, I just like to create flyers and make some nice gifts for the students who are going to be moving on to college soon.
What I enjoy most about working is sorting out the parcels, looking after the delivery company, sorting them out with the right delivery address, postcode, and working well as a team, helping each other out, and have good motivation skills, good communication skills, good listening skills, and good motivation skills, and helping looking after the warehouse properly and doing it properly.
Working all together as a team, and like the communication is like quite strong, and just being helpful in general. Yeah.
I've not started my placement yet, but currently I am at Community Focus in the group called Articulate, and we are a group of people who have disabilities, and we work to make a lot of different art projects and items that we sell on our online shop, and we're still selling them at the moment. Lots of different projects like puzzles, paintings, games and other things. Link in the description.
I like working days, learning new skills, learning how to deal with people, and learning how to communicate with people too, and talk to them with my customers and colleagues at my shop.
I like working with preschoolers and do the warm up with the animals and be like when they jump and then do a landing shape, and they want to as an animal like a giraffe, like they're walk on a tiptoe across to the place, and then it jump and it go back and forth. It's amazing.
Have you faced any challenges at work?
As a matter of fact, I do. Whenever I'm trying to deal with students, just to try and get them to concentrate on their work, and I just feel like losing my cool, and I'm trying not to, and at times I feel like I come out pushy sometimes, and I hate being reminded by my colleagues that like telling me how to do my job properly, and it just makes me angry, and I'm just trying to think about which someone would give me a proper advice on, rather than people lecturing me.
I broke a big heavy box of wine at Yodo in the warehouse in Waltham Cross. It made me feel very annoyed and upset. Yeah, the manager helped me with that to clear it up, the mess, and he asked me to put something on it, a cardboard box on it, so I don't slip over it.
Probably trying to understand a task they give me. That would probably be a challenge for me. Sometimes I need more processing time, but it also depends on the task that they give me.
So with my first job, I really struggled to understand the instructions to begin with, and it was really difficult because I was on the phone with someone and I was trying to make my computer work and also trying to ask them to like be patient with me. So I found that a bit hard, but once I got used to it, it was okay. But with the work I'm doing at the moment with Community Focus, we do art. I do a lot of art, and I love doing art, but I'm right-handed, so I've always done art with my right hand, but I've got a deformity in my arm which causes a lot of pain, so a lot of the time I have to have breaks or I can't do certain things, and I've actually started learning to draw with my left hand. I can already write with my left hand, but now I'm currently just doing a lot with my left hand recently, and it might not be as good as my right hand, but I am getting there, and it helps a lot because that means I don't have to worry if my arm's hurting, so I just use my left arm if I can. What could have the staff at your work placement done that made it easier for you, Yasmin?
Well, when one of my former teachers who happened to be my colleague used to work in the school. He's good at giving me proper advice. And
when they lecture you, does it feel like they're telling you off?
yes, and I just feel embarrassed and angry, wondering did I ever do something wrong? What could I have done better to help out the students, and how to do my job well?
The company could have explained to me how to handle this properly and do it, so I need to be much more careful with it when things are broken, or ask someone to ask for help if it's too heavy for me, or ask for help and advice and support.
What the question is?
What the question was?
Would you feel comfortable asking for help?
Yes. If I ask Lorna to help, I said yes. Yeah.
There are moments where I feel like I want to ask for help, but I can't. And I don't want to bother that person. But there are times where I can ask for help. If I'm like in if I'm volunteering in a new workplace and I don't know anyone there, I can get a bit worried of judgment. I don't know if I ask for help, but if I'm like in a surroundings where I have worked with that person before, I can like ask for help. So it really depends who I'm around. Some people here have learning difficulties, and we need our own pace to understand instructions.
Thinking back to when I was in school, I used to get extra time, which was very helpful because I had to take lots of rest breaks. When my arm hurt, I had to stop. So getting the extra time to have that break was helpful.
So, my name's Stuart Downie, and I was a disability employment advisor in the London Borough of Barnet for 20 years, and I was based at Edgware and the Hendon Job Centre, and I used to work with different organisations who supported anybody with a disability, learning disability, mental health, any sort of disability, to get into work and to help them stay in work. So to give them the right support. And I retired 3 years ago.
What organisations did you work for?
So when I worked for the job centre, I worked with organisations like MenCap, who've got employment programmes. There's an organisation called Exceptional Individuals, who work with people with neurodiverse conditions, and they're very good, based in the city. And then they have different providers like Maximus and Ingeus, who do general support. So also mental health organisations like Mind, Jamie, they also have employment programmes. So spoke to all of them and then try and work with the person looking for work so they would get the right support so they'd be successful when they got into work, so they could stay in work. Yep.
In the organisations, do people need to require qualifications to apply for a job?
Depends what the job is. Some organisations you do need qualifications. Were there any specific jobs you were thinking of?
Something in like the creative fields, like performing arts, photography, art in general.
So a lot of the time with those organisations you might be able to get in as a volunteer or do a work trial, and you wouldn't necessarily need a qualification. It'd be about what experience you have, and if they could look at your work, if you've got a portfolio of work and know what experience. So it's about the drive you've got and the wanting to succeed and the right people along the way, I think.
We talked previously about problems we've had in the workplace. What things can employers do to help us out?
So you could contact Access to Work if you have specific difficulties. You could ask for someone to support you in talking to the employer to say, these are the difficulties I have. So you might need, the work's too fast, so you need longer to train on a new task to do. Or you might have too many people and that makes you feel anxious. So maybe you need more breaks. I had one gentleman, he had mental health difficulties. His medication made him very tired in the morning. So we asked his employer, rather than him start at 9 o'clock, could he start at 10 o'clock? So he then didn't have to travel during the busy times and he felt much better. His medicine had kicked in. They could give you someone at work you could speak to if you've built up a relationship with a colleague, just to go through something if you're getting anxious about it. There's also through Access to Work, they've got a program called Able Futures, and they can provide a buddy for you who you could ring up, and they'd ring you every week basically just to go through how your job was going and if you had any difficulties. So yeah, the Access to Work can get you taxis to work if you can't go on public transport. They can get you specialist equipment, so if you need specialist software, they can make changes within the work environment. So it's a very useful organisation to go to if you need support.
How did you find Access to Work?
So you can go into Google and just put Access to Work, and it's on the Gov UK website. And then it will tell you if you're eligible. You don't have to have a doctor's report. You can just say, this is my disability, and then how it affects you in work and what help you feel you need. And you do all of that online. So it's quite straightforward. And if you needed help, I could help you, or maybe someone else you know. But it is quite straightforward now. If you need help in Barnet, the best place to go is Boost. Have you heard of Boost? So Boost are based at Burnt Oak Library. And they have very good people in there. They've got broad knowledge of welfare benefits, can help you make claims. Also, Inclusion Barnet can help you as well. And all these names I will put in a link so you can contact. Inclusion Barnet will help you make applications for PIP, appeals, all sorts of things related to benefits as well. Access to Work is nationwide, so anybody can get in Britain. MenCap, Mind, a lot of these organisations are national organisations. So, look at your local council. They've often got a list of different organisations, or talk to a disability-specific organisation who should know about other organisations in your area.
Do you think it's important to share your disability with your employer?
Yes, I think it is, because if you have some difficulties at work and they don't understand it's because you have a disability, then they may not give you the right support and react in a negative way. So if they know you have a disability, you've disclosed it beforehand, then you can inform the employer, sometimes I might find this difficult and I need this sort of support to enable me to do that part of the job. So I would say for mental health, learning, just any specific tasks you find difficult, it's better the employer knows once you start that. You don't have to disclose it when you're being interviewed, but certainly before you start the job, tell them this is what my disability is and this is how it might affect me and this is how I overcome it. Because once the employer knows and is confident you can do the job, then that's fine. But he doesn't know. Also, you could become anxious about not telling people. And I've met people who their anxiety level goes up because they don't want to tell anybody and then they can't do the job properly. So I would recommend you should do. But make sure you're comfortable, practice talking to someone about it. So if you speak to an employee, you know what you're going to say and how you're going to say it.
What happens if you disclose your disability to your employer but they're not very helpful with it?
So you could go to a disability employment advisor. They could then take notes about what the problem is or what the difficulties are. We work with work psychiatrists or work psychologists, sorry, and what they do is analyse difficulties and can get involved with the disability employment advisor to talk to both parties. So they talk to you, the employer has to agree, but the employer is willing to talk, then we would talk to the employer, say, well, these are the difficulties that person is having, we can give you support in overcoming those difficulties. If the employer is not being helpful at all, you could go to a union, if you have a union, maybe get them involved, or any people within the company who might be able to help you talk to your employer, or even a support organisation. So you had help from Mind or MenCap, go to them and they could possibly get someone to come in. Even Access to Work could probably provide someone to come in to you. But don't let it build up. You know, if you're having problems straight away, then do contact someone, speak to someone about it, even if it's just a family member or a friend, and then work out the best thing. If you really like the job, how you want to keep it. So by law, if a company knows you have a disability, they should do what's called reasonable adjustments. And reasonable adjustments are making changes in the workplace to enable you to do the job like anybody else. So say you do a certain type of job, they might need to give you more time, like I said, maybe more training, maybe communicate in a different way. Say you were deaf or blind, and they would have to find different ways to communicate with you. So it's all about enabling you to do the job like everybody else.
How do you face anxieties when you're in a new surrounding if you're volunteering or you have a job in a new workplace?
How do you deal with your anxieties when you have a new job? Yep. So often I've noticed a lot of people, first of all, they'd practice the journey where they're going, because journeys can be pretty anxious, aren't they? You know, if you're travelling in traffic and public transport. So practice that, you know, do it a few times before you start the job. If you can have an informal word with the employer beforehand, you know, just to make yourself comfortable in the work environment. So go there before you actually start work, know your tasks. Sometimes people use mindfulness, breathing techniques. So they have these ways of calming themselves down. So be aware of what works for you and then practice that before you start. So one of your students who works for Yodel has anxiety going to work, so Access to Work pay for a taxi for him to get to work and get back. Also in work, when he had to learn the job, he had a job coach. I'm not sure who provided that, so it could have been an organisation or could have been Access to Work, who helped him learn the job for a few weeks. So every day they spent 2 to 3 hours learning the job alongside him, but also talking to his colleagues and his manager how best to work with him. So they knew how to work with him. So I had another customer, he works for a company, a big supermarket. He worked in their cooking. So the job coach taught all his colleagues, the people who worked, how to work best with him, how to talk to him, engage with him, and he's been there 8 years and doing very well, as far as I know. So as long as people know in advance and they've got good people giving them the right information.
At the moment, I don't feel like doing work because I have a sense of my anxiety telling me that it's like a fear of judgment, and it's like I'm doubting myself if I can do the work, because I do want to find a volunteering job, like working in a charity, but it's just my anxiety. So yeah.
So if you're feeling anxious, then I suppose the first thing is try and work out things that make you feel less anxious. Also, if you're going to do voluntary, start off with only maybe 1 or 2 hours, just to build up gradually, so you feel less. And then, do you feel anxious in certain circumstances? Is it like the travel or when you meet new people? What makes you anxious?
Probably like a new environment and the people that I'm around that I don't know that well.
So that would be good if before you start work, go there, get the manager to introduce you to people. Just stay there. Don't do the job. Just stay there. Get to feel a bit more comfortable in that environment, and then just do it slowly. Because I've worked with a lot of charity shops, and usually the managers are very, very supportive, and people could start off really slowly and then work for a supermarket or something. So it was a good way to get a good reference for your CV. I mean, going forward, if you start off voluntary, you can get a reference which would be helpful when you apply for a paid job, and some voluntary jobs then lead to a paid job.
Why do we need CVs and to keep them up to date?
So CVs are very helpful to the employer. If he has 100 people apply for a job, he's got certain criteria or abilities that person has to have. So a CV will give him an idea that that person has the right ability. So you want the latest things you've done for, say, the last 5 years, any qualifications that are relevant to that job. Also in the profile bit, sort of say what type of person, what skills you have that tick the boxes for that job. So the CV is important for the employer, and also to remind yourself of what skills you have, and keep up to date with it. So if you're changing jobs, you don't have to, you know what's there. But most jobs are got through who you know. So the best way to get a job is talk to your friend who might be working there, or a family friend, or anybody. So that's the best way and the most popular way really of getting jobs, unless it's like one of the top, become a chief exec. You never underestimate what people can do, and with the right support and confidence, they can all do very well.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you for having me.
Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, I have. It was easy.
What have we all learnt from today?
We learned about people getting jobs.
It's amazing. Well done. Keep it up.
We've learnt about some jobs don't require qualifications, they just require experience.
I learnt about all the different support organisations that there are for people with additional needs and mental health issues.
I enjoyed doing the podcast and working as a team.
It's a goodbye to all the... Sorry.
Goodbye to everybody.
See you later, alligator, in a while, crocodile.
See you later.
See you later, alligator.
Subscribe.
Bye.
Yay!
Community focus. Community focus. We're here for you. With me and you. On our point of view. At 5 o'clock, you're North London. The podcast crew. A week in review. We're here for you.